Little Liars Summer School, Episode 5, Friday the 13th. Little irony here. This is the 5th episode. It's entitled Friday the 13th, which I just said. But the point being is that we get a very cool Easter egg in here, which is Pseudo echoes his eyes, which is Friday the 13th, Part 5's iconic song, or iconic to horror nerds like us.
Yeah.
Maybe not to anybody else. But when I heard Pseudo echoes his eyes, I was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. If nothing else in this episode, that's a very cool nod. So whoever put that in here, kudos to you, especially since I think it is like the best song attached to the Friday the 13th franchise. And it's from a Part 5, and this is Episode 5. So it's like poetry. It rhymes. So that was cool. Now the rest of the episode. All right. I do want to say this out the gate, though. I don't know what else I expected from this show. I already watched season 1. This is Pretty Little Liars.
I know.
Okay? This is exactly the kind of show that it was always meant to be.
Yeah.
So for me to shit on any, like, teen girl drama, eye-rolly shit, that's all this show is ever going to be. But it's just because it had this horror angle, and they're doing, like, Friday the 13th, and Pseudo echoes his eyes is playing, and they're playing Friday the 13th Part 2 up on the screen while a girl's getting chased to the theme music from Friday the 13th. I just want a little bit more, just a little bit more horror, but I don't know. I think this is as horror as it was ever going to be. In fact, I would almost argue this is more horror than you would expect this show to ever be, just because it's fucking Pretty Little Liars. I don't know what more I thought this show was going to be, but goddamn, does the drama, the relationship drama in this episode make me want to jump off of a cliff. And I should just stop watching, I guess, but I'm not gonna. We're going to continue to talk about it. Don't think I'm shitting on the show. I am, but I'm trying to be fair about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. This show is exactly what it's going to be. And for people who are loving it, because this is the kind of show they wanted, that's awesome.
The show basically was not designed with us in mind at all. Like, we're only watching it because of the horror, but it's even hold on. It's even written in a way that they're, like, explaining the plot of Friday 2, because the people that are mostly watching the show probably haven't seen Friday 2.
One second. Who's Pseudo Echo for, then?
Pseudo Echo is because there's people that are working on the show that love horror, and they're like, we're putting that in there.
That's for someone who's sitting through this show. It has to be.
I don't know.
It has to be.
I don't know.
They had to go out of their way to get the rights to this song. I can't imagine it cost all that much. But regardless, they went to that length. It just, it just makes me feel like they're kind of trying.
Yeah.
It's like I think the people who are on the set, who are horror fans, who want this to be more horror, they are doing their best.
Yes.
They're just like, look, bro, that's as much as I could get in.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, they're like, oh, okay, gotta do the teen drama, but it's horror, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, the show, it is very, like, on par with everything that happens in, like, the first season, but I do kind of feel like the drama is amped up a little bit in this. Definitely it feels like the relationship drama.
Oh my god.
Because everybody is having, except for Mouse, but like everyone is having relationship stuff. And that's fine. That's fine. It's high school.
Exactly
it's
what it's
teen.
Gonna be.
It makes sense. But it is very, very dramatic and very like, what? Like, no.
You know who is pretty, is little, and is a liar?
Noah.
Yes.
Noah's the biggest Pretty Little Liar
100.
In this show. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in her. I know she's supposed to be stressed and going through it, and that's, she's hurting, and that's why she's doing this. That's why she's cheating on her boyfriend.
Dude,
but it's really
it's
shitty.
How it's being
really
done.
shitty.
It's how it's being done.
He helps bail out Jen.
Oh my god.
And then she sleeps with Jen. And then she sleeps with him. And then she tries to be like, I want both of them. I'm just confused. Which is like, okay.
But yeah,
that's fair. Like, you're confused and you don't know. But, like, then break up. Then don't be in a relationship.
Those are some broad strokes there. There is a lot more context there that makes her a horrible person. We'll get into it, but let's start from the beginning here. We get this opening where it shows that... Okay, I guess our first question... Because, okay, the very, very first thing we see is, like, the cult of Bloody Rose on Spooky Spaghetti with everyone in a house, like, all at, like, worshiping her or something. And she's, like, standing in the middle. I don't know what that was. Was that an actual video?
Yes,
that was posted.
It was on
Spooky Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Like, so then she has like a full blown cult at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're talking about that, then it could fucking. I mean, all she would have to do is have 10 of her cult followers. She has so many.
Yeah.
Like, dress up like her. So you could have anyone be the killer.
Well, obviously,
you know what I mean?
There's like a huge parallel between her cult and the cult at the church.
Sure, but what I'm saying is that the whole, like,
who's the killer
thing, where you're using this process of elimination. Well, they were attacked while Bloody Rose was here, and Christian and Johnny and this and that were there, so it can't be them. Well, that's just not true anymore.
Yeah.
Because she has a full-blown cult that could dress up like her, while the real killer, the real Bloody Rose, is hanging out with them.
Yeah.
So now you can't use that anymore. There is no more, well, this person was here. Because, like, I was looking, because I think it's Christian. I'm dead set it's Christian.
I'm like...
I was like, oh, he's there, and she's out there. Guess it can't be him unless it's two killers. And it's like, no, he's a full cult.
I think it could be. I also... excuse me. I'm a bit suspicious of Wes, even though he was set up to be suspicious in this episode. And I'm also still kind of suspicious of Kelly's mom.
Uh-huh.
For sure, especially because, like, the literal scene that, oh my god, what's her name when she goes in? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot her name.
Which one?
The swimmer.
Farron.
When she goes into the church and, like, sees her boyfriend, it's, like, the same setup as what we get in the beginning.
As the cult, yeah.
So I'm just like, maybe there's something with that. But we also get a new female character in this with Imogen's dad's fiance.
Yeah, we're jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But as far as suspects, I just kind of am meaning that, like you're saying, if she has, like, this whole, group of people, I feel like there's a lot of threads.
Sure. I mean, we have tons of suspects that potentially could be the guilty party here, for sure. I mean, this show is not at a loss currently for the amount of suspects that it has. So, but I think moving into our very first scene with our Pretty Little Liars, quick question we both had. I'm going to pose it over to you once again. Why no hospital?
I don't know.
Why can't Farron go to a hospital?
I'm so confused why they wouldn't go to the hospital.
There's like, no hospital. Why?
I know. They're
because
like,
they don't want attention again?
I guess? I don't know. I was really confused by that. I don't know if we missed something. Did they say something last episode? I don't think they did, though. I don't think they were like, no hospitals.
Why they
were just like,
hospital.
We don't go alone. And then Farron goes and does it alone. So, I don't know. I have no idea why they just they just wanted them to all be screaming and like freaking out.
I guess.
That was kind of like the only thing I got from that scene.
Farron's going to have an unnecessarily large scar on her arm.
Not to mention it could get infected and like so many complications could happen. That was a big gash.
Yeah.
Like that was something you need stitches for sure. And that's what they tried to do, right? They tried to sew her together, but like I don't know. I was really confused. I think that the point of the scene is actually to make it seem like they are resilient and like They take care of each other.
Yeah. We don't need a hospital. We need each other.
But I already kind of had that feeling from their friend group. I didn't, I don't know.
If one of them gets, like, their throat slit and they're like, we need to get her to a thoracic surgeon, and they're like, no hospital.
No thoracic surgeons.
We do it ourselves. Mouse, get me the friggin', thread. Yeah, stapler, exactly.
Yeah.
Just absurd. Just absurd. So I don't understand why no hospital. Maybe someone can answer that for us. This is technically, we're now past the halfway point of this season. 8 episodes. We're 5 in. So last episode was the halfway spot. So we're now on the second half of this. So we are getting closer to the end. I mean, there's only 3 episodes left. So we're going to get our reveal here in not too long. At least that's what the episode count is on IMDb. It has been wrong before. We did that with, like, I think Chucky or something, where we thought it was going to be like 10 and it was 8. So
yeah.
I don't know. It can be all over the place. So they suspect Dr. Abigail? No. I'm sorry. Wait, it's Dr. What's her name again? Am I right on that?
Her name. I
wrote it down somewhere.
I think it's Abigail.
No, I wrote it down. Why can't I find it? That's annoying. I'll come back to it. But yeah, they suspect her now, and they confront her after they found out she was Sullivan. Dr. Sullivan.
Dr. Sullivan.
They find out that she's been recording them. They Google to make sure that that's illegal. She's not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, if that is illegal and she's doing it, then yeah, that's pretty screwed up. I think this pretty much, I don't know. Do you think this eliminates her as a suspect?
Kind of. It definitely removes a lot of suspicion from her, but I wouldn't say it completely removes all suspicion.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of a chance that it could be her. And then what we were saying, too, where, like, this could definitely be going for, like, the Scream 2 kind of thing, where there's, well, I guess there is always 2 killers, but, like, one of them was the mother, but she's not the mom. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do think it could be possible that there's 2 killers, like, working together.
And we have to remember that Rose Waters, did some Houdini freaking disappearing act off of a bridge. So
that's true.
I'm definitely not ruling her out. I think it's her and Christian. Anyway, so outside of the relationship drama, I'm not against. I mean, we've talked about this on the channel 100 times. I don't really care at the end of the day with the, like, woke kind of very, like, the social commentary on feminism and racial issues and all that stuff. Like, it usually doesn't bother me. But the shit in this show really is so heavy-handed and so poorly handled that I even myself find myself going like, oh, come on. Like, this is just poor. And the Farron arm wrestling scene that's just like, I don't know. Do you think that does a service to feminism for this girl to be like, so obviously, like, she's injured. She's half the size of this other guy. Just because a guy who's like twice your size and buffer than you can beat you in arm wrestling doesn't mean he's superior to you. Yeah. Like, we understand this, right? Like, equality doesn't mean that everyone's the same. That's not how equality works, right? Like, I don't know what this idea is of, like, I'm a woman, that means I'm stronger than men and I have to prove it. It's like, I'm sorry to tell you, Farron is not beating that guy in an arm wrestling match. It's just not fucking happening. Especially when she's got an injury that she's trying to push through. Like, it's her grit and her determination that's making her win, supposedly. And it's just like, you don't physically have the strength to overpower that guy. It's just not real. And I just don't feel like it's an honest, like, conversation starter. It's like you're poisoning the well up front. Like, no. I'm, women can be as strong as men. Sure, some women can be strong as some men, but I don't feel like this does any good for, like, the message they're trying to send. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I think that whole scene and everything with Farron and, like, wanting to prove herself physically, I more just feel like, she clearly has, like, a pride issue. And this is the second time that she's put herself in a situation where she is going to re-injure something. And I feel like there should be consequences to her, like, pushing her body, like, so far and so hard. Like, whenever in the end of the last episode, like, her with that beam on her back, when she has that back injury and condition, like, and then nothing happened from it. Like, it wasn't like she, broke her back or had anything. And, like, I just felt like that was kind of lame. And then with this, I don't really care that she's, like, stronger than him. I more just am like, she, like, just tore open those stitches. Like, I don't know. I just feel like...
That's just grit and determination.
I know,
that's just being stupid. I would do that.
But I just mean, like, her mentality. Like, I feel like there should be... But maybe that'll happen in the future. Like, maybe she will kind of be, like, a little too cocky about, like, what she can handle when her body's maybe, still injured and recovering or whatever. That's more what I kind of noticed about the scene. But I understand what you're saying. I do think it's... a weird kind of way to be, like, feminist, to basically say that men and women are not different. Because we are. And I think there are really strong women out there that could probably beat up a lot of men and, like, physically overpower them and everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess it's just kind of like, you don't need... I think that they're trying to change stereotypes and mostly change the way that women and, like, young girls are represented in, like, media. But I think that you could probably do it in a different way, where, especially, like, if you do want them to focus on, like, their physicality, that's fine, but that doesn't need to be the only thing, because it's kind of, like, just as superficial as, like, your looks in a way, at least to me, you know what I mean? Like, I would much rather see them doing, like, other stuff.
I just don't know what you're proving by beating a guy in an arm wrestling competition. Like, I don't know what the message of that is. It's like, men are, women are stronger than men. It's like, they're just not. And I don't know. I find the argument to be very disingenuous and actually kind of harmful to the overall goal of equality. I think we're looking at it in the wrong way. I think that you need to acknowledge reality and work within the confines of it. And I think that gets us to a better place. Some people have things that you don't, right? That doesn't make them better than you. Right? That's not the point. The point is that we all have an equal starting point, and we all have equal footing. That's what we're working towards. But just, I don't know, it's such a like juvenile response to try to prove a point, to reject this societal, conditioning of, like, women are inferior to men because they're stronger than them. And it's like, no, you need to accept that. You need to accept reality, but you need to change the narrative to make that it doesn't matter. That's not the point. We don't live in that society anymore. Who cares who's stronger than who?
But placing the value on, like, how physically fit you are is also, like, wrong to do.
Right.
It's very ableist, because there's a lot of people whose bodies literally won't, like, do not do that and will not do that. You
know,
the disabled people. And so it is kind of like they're just like subbing out, like, if that was a guy and then they put in Farron. So I don't like it. I don't think it's very substantial. That didn't bother me the most in this episode. And like most of the like quote unquote like woke things that we've talked about, like, you know, in past episodes, like I'm like whatever on them.
Yeah.
But I did actually get really annoyed with the Wes and Tabby scene. I thought that was, which I guess we can get
super on the nose.
It was,
to say the least,
so uncomfortable and like fake feeling and just not like a hoorah moment at all.
Yeah.
I really did not like it because, like, I get that Wes is supposed to sort of be this assholey, like, you know, he's like a snob, he's a movie snob, and like, I that's fine to have a character be that, and even to have it be like he's this like snobby white guy, like, that's fine. He can be stereotypical in that sense, but it just felt so fake. It was very, like, and I don't like using the word cringy, but it was really cringy feeling. I did not get the like, yeah, you get him, girl. Like, it was just kind of like, what? He's gonna say that to her? Like, that feels so, like, no way. Really?
Yeah.
It felt so unbelievable to me.
You can approach this in such a different way and have subtle subtext that is intelligent and gets to the heart of the issue without being so obvious.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. It's like you're making caricatures. You're making, like, you know, like twirling mustache villain type stuff. It's like, it's such poor writing. It's like comic book villains. It's like, come on, you can write better than that, can't you?
And, you know, he also hasn't really been in that, like, villain role for a little bit now. Like, he was kind of he was an asshole to her for sure, and he's sort of always had that, but especially this season I felt like things were a little different with their dynamic. I don't know if I'm like just reading that wrong, but I don't know. And I get, like, he's supposed to be jealous and like he's kind of bringing that up to hurt her, but I agree, like, yeah, it could have been written in a better way. I just think the writing on that was really, really poor.
Sure.
Not that the subject was being addressed. That's fine. But like you said, it was just so on the nose. And it's like, you don't need to spell it out. Like, you really don't. But maybe they do, because it's like, I don't know, they're writing for teens. But that's like even more of a reason to like not spell it out, because media literacy is important.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, moving on. I just thought both of those scenes were just so fucking stupid. And the agenda on display was in full force, and because we're already so sensitive to that as a culture, people immediately jump on you when you're like have woke agendas or whatever. It's harder to get your message through these days because people are already wanting to lash out against that. And so when you make it so easy for them to do, I just feel like the message gets swatted aside and you're not getting your message to anyone outside of the choir that you're preaching to.
Yeah, because it is an important message. Like, what that scene is addressing is very important.
Yeah. So,
but I agree, yeah. It just makes it very laughable. And,
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good scene.
Moving on from all of that, so Noah's boyfriend catches Jen and Noah not in bed together, but they are in bed together when he comes over, and he's just so oblivious to it, so happy. So, hey, how's it going? And Jen comes out and tries to stir the pot. She's like, oh, I barely got any sleep last night.
Yeah.
Like, rubbing it in his face. Like, I fucked your girlfriend all night, and that's why I'm up. And it's like, bitch, this guy literally took his life savings and gave it to his girlfriend to bail you out.
Yeah.
And your, response to that, your thank you to that is, I'm going to fuck your girlfriend and rub it in your face.
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to like you? Are you supposed to be someone I'm, like, rooting for her to choose? Like, is this a love triangle? Because it's pretty clear that he can do better, and that you're both pieces of shit and you're perfect for each other. So not only that, but then you get the mom of him comes into the work and she's like, did you talk my son into giving you $2,000? She lies to her face, says it's for her mom, who she now then has to cover up another lie because she said my mom was out of rehab. Now she has to say that my mom's back in rehab, which then makes her look even more shady because it's like, okay, your mom's in and out of rehab and this is now my problem. Yeah. When you told me she was fine and this is attached to you, that's not going to look good for the mom, right? So you're already lying to cover up a lie that you already lied about, supposedly. So it's like, why not just tell him the truth?
No.
Because you're already making it, you're making it look so bad anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, then when they find out that you're lying about the lie, it's over. It's game, set, match.
Just digging herself in so deep.
And then Jen comes over and talks shit about the mom and is like, she's crazy and this and that. And it's like, her son just gave all his money away. She's lying to her.
Yeah.
And it was to get your ass out of jail for robbing your father as a, parolee. It's like,
I know.
It's so bad.
I know the mom is like, she's annoying and she's like she's kind of been rude to Noah and stuff, but I don't feel like she's out of line
at all
in this scene.
I would be the same way.
Yeah, like I think that she's upset that her son just gave away a bunch of his money
to a chick who has been in jail. Yeah. Whose mom is in and out of rehab, who is cheating on my son currently.
I mean, she doesn't know
that part, and but
Noah's tried to
there's no reason for her not to be that aggressive with her.
I mean, even besides all that, she's just like, that's all his money. Like, what, So, yeah, I think that she is understandably upset. And I think that, Noah is handling this situation literally the worst way possible.
Oh, when she has him over to, seduce him. Oh my God, I
so bad. I mean, and then the fact before that, when they're out on their morning run, and she's like, "I'm sorry for not being around and working so much," and then Jen has to just apologizing for literally everything except the cheating, which I get it. Like she feels guilty and she doesn't want to cop to it, and then him comforting her is just like,
it's okay.
Oh my God,
nothing to be sorry for.
It sucks. It sucks.
So
it really
bad.
Sucks. But I mean.
And then she breaks up with Jen so hard.
So harshly. She's like, sleeping with you meant nothing.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's supposed to be in an attempt to protect her from the killer.
She's trying to get her to, leave, and she's like, she's not going to leave unless I'm mean to her. But, man, it's pretty rough.
But, that also just kind of adds to how shitty she is, because it's like she doesn't even mean it.
Right.
Right? So she hasn't even truly picked. It's only because the killer is putting her life in danger that she's like, oh, ultimately I'm making a decision right now to push you away. So
if it had been her boyfriend there, would she have
probably done it to him?
Probably not. Probably not.
Then Jen's the one who ends up saving her.
Yes. Yeah. So they're just going to get closer, obviously. But,
terrible.
Yeah. It's not good.
We have some stuff going on with Mouse, and her grandma's cutting her forehead like she's in the cult, I guess. We didn't see that happen, but we did see the bandage over her head, and we saw the video of the people cutting their foreheads for this. So I guess there's a full-blown cult now.
Yeah.
That has went through Spooky Spaghetti. I don't know. All of their faces are shown.
I know.
So why they're not contacting the police and being like, you need to find every one of these people. They know who the killer is. Here's a video of them with the killer. This is the simplest case ever.
Yeah,
Here's a whole ton of people that you can identify and go and question them. But no, we don't go to the hospital. We don't go to the police. We're just fucking morons. It's just getting stupid.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused about that too. Because then even when they're at school, Mouse is like, if you see anyone with a cut on their forehead, and I'm like, You had pictures. You
literally
had videos.
have video of
there could be more, definitely.
Study their faces.
There could definitely be more people that are participating, but, like, I don't know. That definitely feels like something you should tell authorities, like, hey.
Why are they not looking into all the people who are around them? Because they don't have the
time in the show.
Like, don't you think that the people that are, like, at the feet of the killer who are cutting themselves, like, you would look at their faces and try to figure out who they are?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a smaller town, right? Yeah. Like, they should be able to figure out who these people are. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's the people with the fucking bandages on their forehead.
Yeah.
Like, put out a Facebook post or an Instagram post. Like, anybody seen anybody with cuts on their forehead in town?
I know.
Who are they?
Who are they?
You know? Like, check out Spooky Spaghetti. These guys are all cult members. You seen them?
Yes.
You need to go to the authorities if you know these people. Like,
yeah. I agree.
What?
I agree.
Why would you post your face?
I don't know.
Why weren't they wearing masks? Some kind of disguise. They're just going to openly put their faces on there and they're like, I'm in a cult with the killer. Just so that you can
see them cut their foreheads.
But you can have them wear like a mask like here. And then they cut, like they pull the mask up and cut their forehead. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think that's really weird. And I do hope that we at least get like, I don't know, something with one of the people that was on, like, because they did kind of zoom in on some of the faces, so I'm like, maybe those are the ones that we'll see, but yeah, I don't know. That's really weird how they're, like, not handling that information.
So, another stupid thing in here, sorry, I really am just going to shit on this episode like I have the last few. When Farron walks in on the cult being a cult, she's shocked, and it's like, we knew this was a cult from the beginning. Like, the literal first episode, they're like, you know where Kelly's going and her mom are going? And they're like, where? And they say the church name, and everyone's like, that fucking place is a cult. And then she walks in on them being a cult, and she's like, you're a cult? I honestly, I could not give a fuck about Farron and Henry's relationship at all. Like, I literally don't care.
I actually really don't care.
At all.
I don't feel like they have any chemistry or anything, and I'm just like...
Probably because he's a gay cult member.
Break up. Like, the only reason you're together is because of the dance.
Yeah. But I don't know, like... I don't know what she walked in on there that's shocking.
It was very...
That's pretty, like... That's like talking in tongues.
Church stuff.
Yeah.
Like
if you went to that kind of
church or like whatever. I don't know. There's other denominations that do that kind of stuff too.
Like when you were a kid, you went to a church where people talked in tongues. Yes. So this is like, what is she seeing here? That's all that's shocking.
And they're all like just praying. Like they have their hands like.
What she should have walked in all the time at church is an orgy.
She should have walked in on them, like, killing an animal or something.
Yeah, sure.
Like, something weird. I mean, it is weird, but, like, weirder. Like, not, like, just that.
An orgy while killing an animal.
I don't want them to kill an animal, actually. I don't know what I want them to do. I should be painting the walls with their feces.
Sure, but, like, them just going like, oh, I feel the spirit. Fucking welcome to church, Farron. What do you think they do there?
I did really like her reaction, though. Like her
She's
little,
horrified. Like she walked in on them murdering somebody. That's the way she looked. And I'm like,
I love it, though.
Welcome to church. I don't know what to tell you.
That's such a great, like, if you've never been to church and you see it and you're just like, like, that's what you guys are doing? What the fuck is wrong with you people? It was really funny. Yeah. But, yes, they're a cult, and surprise, surprise, we all knew it.
When it turns to Friday the 13th, there's some breathing happening over the title that it's Friday the 13th. Little nod to Jason Voorhees there. Ugh. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. And then we get... Oh my God. Forgot about this. Freaking Imogen goes completely psycho... on Daddy's new wife-to-be over him giving her Imogen's mom's ring, even though it was Imogen's dad's mother's ring that she passed down to him to put on his wife. He got divorced, so he took the ring back, and now he gave it to his new wife. I don't know, man. Like, I get that Imogen's upset about it. I think she overreacted, to say the least. But, like... Her dad has every right to take his mother's heirloom and give it to his wife. They divorced. It didn't work out. I'm taking my ring back. In fact, I guarantee you the mom would have given it back to him. Like, hey, this is your mom's. That's the right thing to do. This isn't mine. She did give it back to him. That's what I'm saying.
That's what they said.
So it's crazy to me. Of course he's going to give that ring to his new wife. That's not what the problem is.
The reason that she reacts like that is because, A, he just told her, like, I'm engaged, and she didn't even know he was dating.
Yeah. My dad did the same thing to me.
Yeah, which is not great to do. You know, like, her mom just died. He actually called me when they were married. It's not great. And, like, he, you know, didn't give her a heads up on anything. Like, he could have kept her in the loop of, like, hey, like, I'm seeing this woman. We're going to get engaged. I'm going to use this ring.
But they're basically estranged.
They are. And that's kind of also why she's reacting like that. Because she just doesn't feel any connection to her dad. And she wanted to give him this chance. And it's just, like, it's not there. Like, and I do think she overreacts. Pulling a knife on a woman and saying, I'm going to cut your fucking finger off and take that ring is hardcore. The way a teenager with all the stress that she's going through would react. No. And I think that we also get this, you know, like in her notes on her file, the doctor's like, she's on the verge of a psychotic break. So that I agree with. I think that's, you know, she's got very intense emotions right now. And
she pulled a knife on a woman and threatened to cut her finger off.
It's pretty badass, honestly.
It's not badass.
She's like, I'm going to take that fucking ring from you.
That's not badass. It's not justified.
It does mean something to her. You know, it's anything with her mom, I think she gets very, you know, she's protective of.
But that's, okay, technically that was her mom's ring. But her mom gave it back to him because it's an heirloom. I'm sorry. It's not your mom's ring anymore.
Yeah.
Period. Threatening her and being like, don't you ever fucking contact me again. I mean, she has every right to do whatever she wants to a degree. What she did with her is actually fucking illegal. If you don't know, threatening violence on someone with a knife feel, though, is hardcore.
Like that woman sort of antagonizes her a little bit. Like, she specifically puts her hand on top of Imogen's with the ring to, like, show it off. And then, like, whenever she kind of makes, I think
you're reading into that.
She sort of has some, you know, she's like, you're just like your mom. And, like, she just kind of reacts a little bit antagonistically, I think.
Maybe a little.
And I get it, like, she's got this screaming girl, like, at her. But if you were trying to make a good impression and, like, be understanding that, like, Imogen's been through a lot. Like, she's lost her mom. She was pregnant, had to give up the baby. She was, like, part of this massacre that happened. Like, there's a lot of stress and, like, trauma that she's processing. And, like, her dad that she's not that close with now getting remarried and trying to, like, get her back into his life. Like, I feel like the fiance in that position should maybe be a little bit more, like, understanding and be like, oh, yeah, I could see how it's weird that this ring that used to be on your mom is now on me, but I'm not trying to, like, overstep or replace your mom, and this was your dad's mom's ring. You know what I mean? I think there could have been a little bit more.
I think there's a lot of soapbox grandstanding in this episode. There is a lot of it. There's a lot of, like, I'm standing up for what's right, and I'm, like, fighting back against the patriarchy and racism and cunty mother-in-laws. And, like, it's just so much preachiness in this episode. It's overboard. And by that point, when she's pulling knives out and I'm supposed to be rooting for her, I'm just like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, God, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
And it's so overboard. It's like she immediately grabs a knife and gets up and is like, I'm going to cut you. It's like, what are we doing here?
It was pretty comedic.
These girls are crazy. You know, Noah is a total piece of shit. Imogen is a psychopath. Farron is a total moron who, like, it's crazy. My boyfriend who's in a cult is doing cult-like things. Like,
yeah.
It's silly. And then you got Tabby having her, you know, thing that we already talked about. I don't know.
Mouse is kind of the only one that doesn't really have any drama besides her grandma.
Yeah, but she's the one who's finding all the spooky spaghetti stuff and not being like, you know, maybe we should take this to the authorities. So I think they all got problems, to say the least. And then The masks at the Friday the 13th festival are the worst masks of all time. I didn't think anyone actually bought those things. I've seen them in stores before, and I laugh at them heartily.
They're not good.
I don't know. They couldn't afford better masks, or they don't have the licensing rights to better masks, or I don't know. But
I don't know.
Those are absolutely horrendous. I like that Noah is being chased while the Friday the 13th Part 2 music from Ginny's chase sequence is being placed over it. So that goes in line with the episode title name. But ultimately, because we know that none of these characters are going to die, it ultimately makes it not all that interesting. And I'm going to tell you right now, once again, just because you're not as fast as a dog doesn't mean you're inferior. It just means you're not as fast as a fucking dog. There's no way. I don't care. Noah, you can't outrun a German Shepherd, okay, in a fucking foot race. The dog is going to annihilate you. It's just, especially when you're like stepping on thorns and your feet are getting torn up and you're in pain. I know there's adrenaline kicks in and this and that, but we are not faster than dogs. It's just, we're not. She would have got caught 100%. She falls down. The dog still doesn't catch her. She stops to get into a car. The dog still doesn't catch her. Silly.
Yeah.
Very silly. I don't know. I'm done. You got anything more to say?
No, I think that's everything.
All right. Well, we'll see in the comments. I'm sure it'll be interesting. All right. Bye. Guys.